Hello there, welcome to the 10 Minutes at the Piano playlist, part 14. Today looking at the resting muscle tension philosophy, and I'm going to give you two technical exercises which are also physical exercises for the arm. Now, the links that you are encouraged to read are in the description box below. They talk about resting muscle tension, which is something really important to an athlete, but also a pianist, for exactly the same reason, muscle tension. And I'd like you to learn about that, because many people are always focusing on the piano component of the three parts of the energy channel, which is the mind and the body and the piano. Everyone's focusing on the piano, very little the body, and pretty much nothing on the mind. Of course, if you're familiar with my water pianism philosophy, if not, links below. There's a free sample available as well on my Google Drive, which is in the link below. You can also find all the tutorial scores in there, so do have a look at that. Some other goodies. So everyone's focusing on the piano component, all the theory and scales and all these things and chords and sight reading, all these kind of things, but they really reject the body. And you can't play the piano without your body, as obvious as that sounds, so it needs to be given some equal attention. Now, without going into the medical detail, because I am absolutely not medically trained or even inclined at all, it basically means how ready your muscles are to perform without having to warm up so much. And what you basically want to aim for as a pianist is to increase your resting muscle tension level. You may have heard how many concert pianists don't really need to warm up, or if they warm up it's just for a few minutes. Liszt, for example, used to just warm up playing some major scales for a few minutes, and that would be enough just to get the fingers awake, just to wake up the fingers, because he would have had a very high resting muscle tension, you see. And so without going into too much detail, I'm going to give you the example for increasing your resting muscle tension for the muscles which are connected to the tendons in the fingers. Now, before I do that, I'd like to just highlight again the correct, and I mean correct for everybody, no matter what your path in music is, and no matter what method book you read. Of course, everything I teach goes beyond method. It involves following the U method, and it involves nature doing what nature does. Water flows on the path of least resistance, and in terms of energy and power coming through the body onto the piano, the shoulder is above the elbow is above the wrist, and then the wrist should be above the middle of the hand, like sort of that position, and then the fingers are below the middle of the hand. That allows the energy channel, so to speak, to flow in one direction without being impeded by some kind of break, some kind of up, which is normally at the wrist. Many pianists will sit too low, or their shoulders will droop too much, or which pushes the elbow too low below the wrist. Even if the wrist and the middle hand and the fingers are low, the elbow is below, so there's that break at the elbow, or there's a break at the wrist. Sometimes there could even be a break in the middle of the hand, and people push down like this, so there's a break in the middle of the hand before the fingers. It's very detrimental to fluency, and I'd like you to be fluent. I'm sure you do too. Now, this exercise goes hand in hand with two other videos which are linked below and on the screen. Patience and finding your natural limit. Patience I don't need to explain, because it's about patience and not getting carried away. And finding your natural limit is very important because it stops you rushing, and you are more likely to achieve, well, you will achieve, but just a bit more quickly, the desired result by finding your natural limit and pushing it, and then pushing it and pushing it step by step, instead of just rushing and trying to do it all very quickly. So this example is involving the chromatic scale, and it's simply the same finger or a different finger on the same note going up chromatically. So for example, let's just take the two middle fingers starting on C. I'll go up to this E, for example, and then back down again. But let's just say that my natural limit, because I'm just starting out, as you may be, is maybe 100 beats per minute on a metronome. If you don't have a metronome, there is an app for that, and Google has, of course, millions of websites with apps with metronomes. So let's just say it's 100. If you close your eyes doing this, because there are so many other benefits to this exercise, what you're going to be doing is increasing your visibility of your internal piano, which is really, really important for many reasons, links below. You can also work on timing and touch. Let me give you an example of touch. What you could do is play, for example, the C to the E, the first kind of group of notes, the C to the E and the two black notes, as hard notes using finger force, and then the F to the B and those black notes as soft notes. Let's do it with the index fingers, for example. So hard, soft, hard, soft. So that was at the same speed. I didn't play a wrong note, and actually my eyes were closed, and I was using a variation in dynamics there for some control. And I'd like to highlight one other thing as well. Your fingers are what play the piano. Liszt used to say, from the wrist you play the piano, and what he was saying by that is that we already have enough strength to play the piano. We don't need to strengthen our muscles because they are already strong enough to play the piano. What we need to focus on is the dexterity of the fingers and an increase in this resting muscle tension, so that we are more than able to deal with anything that the piano pieces and the repertoire throw at us. And this exercise goes really a long way, if not all the way, in helping you have a dexterity, having the muscle tendon connection strengthened. If you close your eyes, your conscious interference is reduced. I have an article on that as well. It's just a huge list of things. Plus you can use this exercise, like I say, for timing, for touch, for precision, even time signatures. For example, let me just do something with my thumbs now. Let's go from, again, C to E. You can start anywhere. Play as many octaves as you wish, personalize every technical exercise, and this one we might want to do it in, for example, 3/4 time. So we will highlight beat 1 and play 2 and 3 normally, and a beat will always fall on a different note. Might be a black note, might be a white note, doesn't matter. So for example, chromatically from C using thumbs in 3/4 time, slowly. Like that, and then you might speed that up and modify it, play more octaves, do what you want with that. Now there's another exercise which I'd like to give you, which is about fluency. If you close your eyes, this is also beneficial for touch as well, and precision, and it's where you play the chromatic scale using the thumb, using an alternation of fingers, the most common being thumb and middle finger, and then the index finger for the passing note, meaning the white note here, the white note here, the white note here, the white note here, coming down, the white note here, the white note, like that, and going up, down, up over the chromatic scale. But this is very, very, very good for fluency and control and speed and precision. Close your eyes and start with your thumbs and go up like this, slowly with the metronome. Find your natural limit and then push it by 20 beats per minute every time. Let's just do this at a steady dynamic level. Up to the next block, so to speak. Up to the next one, down, up, and then over the next one, down, up. So what you're doing is going up each, let's call it, this is called a 12-note block, C to B. And when I say block in this context, what I'm talking about is physically the C to the E block here, that block of black and white notes, and then this block of black and white notes. So you're going to go over it, back down it, up it again, but continue into the next one. Down it, up it again into the next one, down it, up to the next one, like this. And if you can increase that every 20 beats per minute, every time you can do it maybe 5 times up and down at one speed, push up that speed. But if you do that in combination with this one, and if you can maybe go up 10 times at one speed, eventually you'll start to feel certain fingers and the muscle, well, the muscle associated with the finger, start to become really tired, and that is this resting muscle tension showing itself. Your muscles are starting to strain and struggle, and what you need to do is to stop that happening. So if you play around with these exercises, these simple 2 exercises, this one is just for fluency, this one is for speed, it's for precision, whereas this one, getting faster and faster until you can maybe go up to 180. For example, on all the fingers, let's just do the ring finger, for example. With the eyes closed, that is really going to give the fingers an independence, a feeling of independence. It's going to be working on these muscles. What you need is steady persistence on these muscles. So again, it doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're playing. If you spend some time daily or weekly on that, along with my recommended muscle exercises and tendon flexing exercises, again linked below, article and video, you'll be very much on a good way to increasing your fluency, your precision, your touch, your reinforcement of your internal piano over the scales. And of course, as a final comment, you could do this exercise with the major scale. One note. Let's just do all the major scales with the index finger, for example, and then do all of them with the ring finger or whatever. All these things are going to give you so much more precision in your playing that you almost won't believe it, especially if you combine it with your natural limit and push the natural limit. You'll be amazed by the results. Let's have a look at the links below. Subscriptions, likes, comments, always welcome, and see you in the next video. Good luck, all the best, and bye for now.